Welcome to On the Edge with Deneen Dias. Today, I have the privilege to be talking to my guest about marketing. She's an expert in this space. Gaynor Meilke, would you please introduce yourself?
Oh, well, hi, Deneen, and thanks for being on the edge with me. It's exciting. And my name is Gaynor Meilke, and I am the owner of Charisma Inc., and we're a digital marketing and PR and consulting agency that specializes in fintech and then the tax and accounting space. So we all day, every day work with accounting firms, solution providers who serve accounting firms, and then a lot of influencers as well in the space. So we always like to say we bring like the whole circle of the accounting community together, and that's what we love to do.
You certainly do. And you'll be speaking at our first ever conference, AI Unchained. So we're thrilled to have you presenting. But really wanted to focus our time together today on helping firms market, in particular, their CAS services. I've worked with firms also for the last 15, 16 years, and large firms tend to have marketing people, but they focus more on tax and audit. And then mid-sized firms, I think, sometimes outsource. And then smaller firms do their own marketing. But regardless if you're small, medium, or large, in this particular CAS space, since it's a newer revenue source, I think it's different and a little bit not harder. It's just something they haven't really done because it's not bookkeeping. So I'd love for you to share start sharing your thoughts around all of that.
Yeah, I think, when we did our pre-call, we were talking about how nuanced sort of the messaging becomes. And I think we work with some firms who are specializing in CAS, and it's all about creating that value proposition for the firm to their clients, so that the clients can differentiate in their mind, why the kind of foundational piece of CAS is so important to their business, the cleaning up of the books, making sure that all of the numbers coming in are accurate, complete, so that they can really see what the true picture is of their business. And then that's where the CAS firms shine, because it's like once you have all of the, dead wood of bad accounting and bad bookkeeping moved away, then you can really see what's happening in the business, and they can step into that role of being a true advisor. And that's what's exciting, and that's probably the story that a lot of CAS firms should be telling, but they're not doing it clearly in a lot of cases.
Right. Well, and I also think, CAS is a term we use. It's not a term clients use.
Right.
So clients don't know what to ask for, but they know their books are a mess. In fact, I have a friend that has a business, and she called me and said, Deneen, what's an accounting firm supposed to be doing for me? She's like, I know my books are a mess. I don't care that my books are a mess. I'm fine with them paying to clean up, but that's not what I want. I want them to help me understand my business. Like, can you refer to me a firm that doesn't want to just do like my payroll or my bill pay? Like, somebody is going to explain to me my business. And so I think clients are calling saying, can you help me with my books? But that's not what CAS is. So if you can expand on that. Yeah.
Well, I think one statistic that I keep coming back to, I read it, I think it was like late last year. It was in something that was provided by a company called Wasp Barcode, and they basically do barcode technology. But what stuck out to me, they had done a piece on accounting, what small businesses want from their accountants, and like overwhelmingly, it was like 85% of all small businesses see accountants as business advisors. And so they know, accountants do all the numbers, but what they're really looking for and what they're willing to pay for are the business insights. And I know, I'm a business owner, I'm not an accountant. I work in this space, and even though we've worked in this space for like over 20 years and we've done all kinds of content, like I don't pretend that I can do my own books by any stretch, I want to know, I can look in QuickBooks, but, you know,
Exactly.
the firms have all the knowledge about, well, what should I really be doing with, X, Y, and Z, and are my numbers really accurate? Those are the decisions. And I know you and I, spoke about this as well, is that the business decisions are only as good as the data. And so that's another messaging for CAS firms is, what don't you know about your business? They can uncover the blind spots for business owners, and that's super powerful. And I know we have a mutual friend
Yeah.
and client, and that's a discussion that Elizabeth Manso and I from Brigade have had, is just, you know, what don't people know that those CAS firms can tell them? And she's got plenty of client stories, and we've talked about this, how important it is to share, like,
Hmm.
how you're changing the future of a business through what you're doing. And that's something Elizabeth and I, she sort of said that is, we know that, once we clean up the books, we've got the right data flowing through that's in real time, then the fun part begins, because you can actually say, this is what's happening in your business. And the business owner, in kind of a shared vision with their accountant, can say, okay, well, now I know this. I know I need to do X, Y, and Z because I want to get to whatever point of success in the future. And so it's changing the future of a business, and
Yeah.
like, that's
Yeah.
super powerful.
That's where I think that's the exciting work, not the transactional work, not this is what I charge for payroll. This is what I charge for bill pay. This is what I charge. No, that's not what clients want, right? And I'll give you a financial statement. Well, clients don't even know how to read I mean, they might, but they don't really read the financial statements, which firms used to be so proud to make sure they delivered this package and that the
Yeah.
clients don't value. So go ahead. I mean, I think you can share a little bit more of how you're helping Elizabeth bring that story to the market.
So I think something else that, to your point, business owners, they know that they need their books done, but that's not what they really want. I think there's like a duality to it, because on one hand, and you see this with a lot of different service-based businesses, they want the insights and they want the kind of advisory piece, but then they need to understand,
That's right.
how is it packaged? Like, okay, I want what you're telling me, but how exactly do I get it? And if you go into this long-winded explanation of like, oh, well, we, spend all month doing X, Y, and Z and all of these like accounting terms, that's not going to sell in a like Amazon world. We live
Right.
in an Amazon world, and it's like, give me the package, right? So that's
Right.
where being able to say, we've got, this monthly accounting package, and it includes this, and you get X, Y, and Z, and what's the value proposition of that. And so then you can say, well, you're a small business, we've got this small business package, we've got like an accelerator package that's like medium-sized business, and then if you have enterprise level businesses, then that's a whole different package of services. But simplifying the
Yeah.
equation for people, right? I think
Right.
with
I
CAS,
worked with a firm that had their 3 different, and it was bike, drive, fly. And
mm,
so when clients are calling saying, hey, can you help me with my books? That's the AP, payroll, what have you. And they would say, oh, sure. And they'd bring up this flyer with the bike, drive, fly. And they would say, you want to bike with us. You're calling saying you want to bike with us. And we can certainly bike with you. But know that once we get everything clean, and we start getting accurate information with the biking, we would like to drive your business forward. So we're going to start talking to you about all these other bundles that we do. And this is what drive entails to help you drive your business forward, and sort of have a list of what, driving meant, and saying it costs more. but we're going to be doing more together. And then when you're really ready to fly your business forward, if you come to a point where you need to fly with us, that's what we want to do, is help you fly your business forward. But that's what that package entails, and that costs more. And then you're showing these clients that are calling, just asking for what they think a firm does. That might be where we start together, but we have a whole journey and ways that we want to work with you, and that's not where we're going to end together.
Yeah, I love that too. It's like the progression of the partnership between the client and the firm. And as you were talking about those three packages, I think, like, again, there's that duality of, okay, there's like these package little systems, but then there's the what do they allow the accountant and the business to do together, right? And that's the advisory piece, and that's the story, like that. When we talk about branding, and I know people have different definitions of the branding and everything from it's a logo to it's like everything about your firm, which is what we believe, but it's about telling the story of how what your firm is doing from a cast perspective is going to change that business. And there's no better way to illustrate that than with like client stories. So yeah, I know we've talked
We were
about this
talking
too.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, the case study is still like, in fact, I think it's become even like more paramount to people because one, it's a social proof, right? And client's case study, people tend to think about it as, oh, I need to go and interview my clients, and that's like gold standard. Yes, please do that. You can survey your clients and take little nuggets out of that. You get those online reviews and you take quotes out of that and share all of those things. Those are like little miniature endorsements for what your firm is doing. And we talked about this too, was people see themselves in other people's stories. And so it's like, oh, they were able to do that with this medical practice. If that's what your niche is, they could probably do that with mine. The
And they
success.
understand me. Yeah. Well, and I always say, like when you go into the bookstore, they always have the books that have a face on it, right? They put the people's face on it. They know that books with faces sell. Because to your point, people want to see themselves. And so even as a marketing, you can take videos of your customer talking about what they love about working with you or what you've done to change them. And I know, Gaynor, you take very professional videos of the firms that you work with, but even the cell phone, like take a picture or video of your client talking, because then they resonate. That is what people remember. They remember the stories. They remember a customer and they resonate with them and say that they're just like me. I need this help too.
Yeah. And I would also say from a firm perspective, there is no better form of market research than talking to your existing clients about what you're doing right, like what they love about what you're doing, what are their needs that you're not fulfilling that you could. That could be a new revenue stream. And it's also like a great way to keep engaged with your clients, and potentially maybe there's a referral that comes out of it. So it's it's also a point of differentiation, because if your firm is really engaged with the existing clients, then it's really giving that aura of I care about you and your business, and that goes a long way to retaining clients, as long as they're the right type of clients that you want to retain, which is a whole nother conversation as well.
I remember this was a firm probably 10 years ago, so it's been a while, but she focused on high net worths. And I think a lot of firms want to be similar, but in this cast space, you want to differentiate yourself. You want to be different. And so something that she did with her high net worth is when they became a client of hers, that she gave them an iPad. So she would go to Best Buy and buy iPads in bulk when they were on sale, but on the iPad, she had them set up with their dashboard and their password. She had them set up with like a Zoom links, and she's like, we are going to be looking at these dashboards together every single month. We're going to have a monthly meeting where we're talking about your business. and here's your Zoom link. And, and these high net worths would brag to all their friends. Look what I got from my CPA. My CPA gives me an iPad with a dashboard on it. And so differentiating yourselves, you're right, they send referrals, they talk about how you're different. But I'm watching the time. We're halfway through, and I did want to switch gears a little bit and talk about lead gen, because I know that's a big part of marketing, and you have a 3-step process that you really help firms think through. So I'd love for you to share how that works.
I think lead gen is something that a lot of firms struggle with because they're busy doing the day-to-day of working with their clients, and part of it is just determining who you want to target, right? So it's great to bring in all kinds of new clients, but they need to be the right ones. And then it's also a lot easier to do lead gen and less expensive when you know who you're trying to target. So one would be, get your niche in order, figure out, I always recommend no more than 2 to 3 niche campaigns at a time, because really for a firm to serve and specialize, unless you're a very large firm, the average like small to medium sized firm is not going to be probably handling that expertise like beyond 2 to 3 different niches. So get to know like what are the pain points, like bar none, you know it better than any other firm, and you get to know that by talking to these clients that you already have in those niches. Then develop just a simple landing page, like off your website. It's an industry page. You talk about how you solve those specific problems. You have some kind of lead magnet, so it's like a download, or there might be a video course even that you create on like YouTube, and it's private and you have to gain access by completing the form. And I think more and more people are just getting used to the fact that in order to get the initial expertise, you need to fill out a form. So don't be afraid of that. And then once you get them into a CRM, you can market to them with like emails, and you want to do that. But there's nothing wrong with taking people out of automation once they've raised their hand, especially if they're the right type of people, which you should be attracting because you've already figured out the pain points and that's what people are after, is the solution that you're providing. Then actually like have a campaign, and you don't have to do it, the firm owner doesn't have to do it themselves. You could give it to an admin, but more or less have sort of like a templated email to get people into a consultation. And like just doing those 3 things, I mean, it's just the funnel. It's a sales funnel, and it's simple, but it works because you're focused on the right type of client and you're not trying to make it too complicated. I mean, you can even invite people to a webinar, Here you and I are on GoToWebinar, or you could do Zoom, and you could have up to, you don't even have to do a webinar platform. You can still have like 100 people in a meeting on Zoom. Imagine the power of that. You just need to have like a topic that's related to what the pain point is. And you really, I think the most important thing about some of these lead capture techniques is that you get to see who's really interested. We tend to think, oh, we need like hundreds of people to come into a firm to make it profitable. But if you have the right people who are willing to pay for the CAS services that have the higher value, then you don't need as many people, and you want the hand raisers who say, yes, I need that help, and you focus on them.
Yeah. Well, you said a lot, and I want to just break down a couple of things. Yeah. Because it sounds easy, but I know firms struggle because this isn't really where their expertise is, where yours is. Niche. I say niche, you say niche. I know everyone. I think both are correct, but niche is hard for firms in the accounting space. They tend to be generalist, and traditionally they're getting, those clients from the tax. But if you're marketing for CAS clients, you want to be marketing for new clients that are in a certain vertical. And
Hmm.
that's where I think you can really show how you are different because you understand, let's say dentists, right? Dentists are tracking things differently than a restaurant. And so when you're marketing and you know you want dentists and you know you want to offer advisory services to these dentists, that's where you can, I love what you said, do a webinar. Maybe you do a webinar with a dentist that you've transformed, where
Hmm.
together they talk about, well, before you, I
Yeah.
didn't have visibility into how many teeth whitenings I did. But after you, I can see now that teeth whitenings is a revenue generator, so we're selling more teeth whitenings. I mean, those types of stories, right? That's a great idea.
I think what you just said too is like super important. It's that, you know, the client success story is right there, like living and breathing for people, you know, to see that. And also it just showcases the expertise as well. So
Right.
that's, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I think that's great. And then let's dig into CRM because how many firms do you think have a CRM?
Well, I think
Do they?
people have a lot, either have no CRM and they're using still like an Excel spreadsheet,
Yeah.
or they have multiple CRMs, and so they're having to extract
Mhm.
data. I mean, if you've got everything in like a workflow kind of CRM, that's not really a marketing
No.
CRM. So you need to figure out how you're going to like bridge those gaps
Yeah.
in your tech stack as well. So
Right.
I know a lot of firms are using, you know, HubSpot or Infusionsoft or even, you know, Mailchimp is a good place to get started, but you have to also be disciplined. You know, you can do
Right.
the lead gen campaign, but if the information is sitting there and nobody's doing anything with it,
Right.
not
Yeah.
helpful.
Right. Because, and you said this earlier, um, people need to be hit multiple times before they pay attention or before they really respond. And I think that's okay. You know, like before it was like, oh, I don't want to bother them. But now we have so much information coming at us. What are the statistics that you know that people from a marketing perspective is just right? Not too much, not too little, but just right.
Well, I know we had touched on 7 times is the low new standard of just touches in general before people even start to understand what a message is, because we're just bombarded with everything. And this also goes to the point of, you know, niching, not just in the type of client, but also the channels that you are accessing your audience from. Because if you spread out your effort into too many different channels, you're just going to water it down, or you're going to give up. I mean, a lot of people are just, you know, they're on TikTok for a week and then they're like, this is way too much work. I'm done with like making videos for TikTok. And, you know, it may sound kind of boring, you know, to people, but if you're going after link or going after business to business, LinkedIn is still like it's number one. I just was reading something this morning. It's still like 82% of business to business decision makers find the most
Hmm.
relevant content on LinkedIn. So if you know you're a firm, the best thing you can possibly do for social media is be active on there. And when I say active, it doesn't necessarily mean just posting about your services, but connecting with people.
Right.
Take your take your client list, you know, you could export that out of a CRM and connect with people on LinkedIn who are you already know, like their pages, you get access to their network of like-minded
Yeah.
people, and then you can, you know, promote yourself too. So
Yeah.
that's, you know, it doesn't always have to be about an ad or, you know, about you. It's about really engaging, because social media is supposed to be social
And
too.
it's free. That's where people find you. Yeah, and they read up about you. So it's another place I think you can story tell where you can be on LinkedIn saying, I just met, you know, with my favorite customer. And the thing that they said that made my heart, jump, soar, is how I saved their business from, not bankruptcy, that's extreme, right? But when you're, and it's so easy, when you're with a customer and they say something, just post it on LinkedIn saying, this is why I love doing what I do. It's not a formalized case study, but it's just sharing what firms are hearing from their customers all day long.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, the number of success stories the average firm has hidden away is like, it's amazing. It's just the things that, firms do all day, every day to make businesses better. Like it's just, well, not just businesses, but to help individuals too. I mean, we can't leave out that piece because at the end of the day, whoever owns that business has to go home at night and feel good about what they're doing.
Right. Well, and that's what I like about CAS that's different than tax and audit, because when you are building client advisory services, part of, new part of your practice, you are talking to your customer every single day, every single week, every single month. You understand their data, you know their information, you know their struggles. They rely on you. And you know their financials every single month because you're helping them close the books. So you're looking, and who else do they talk to about their businesses intimately, right?
Yeah.
Maybe their wife or husband, but sometimes not, right? So who else do they have to talk to about their business? So you do become their confidant and their advisor. And that's what I think when I say people like seeing people, like that's a way that you can market authentically, that people really resonate with, and it makes them want to work with you. It's
Oh, definitely. I mean, we're all in this together, right? It's at the end of the day, we're all humans trying to like, grow a business or, be successful in some
yeah,
way. So don't take use the tech to
yes,
make time to be able to have those human connections, right?
yes. Well, and that's one thing when you said use a CRM, and then within the CRM you can put them in like a marketing process,
Hmm.
where there's a certain message that you can send and then automate sending another, 3 weeks later, and then automate sending another month later, so that it's not a manual thing somebody has to do. It's an automated process.
Hmm.
Um, and you're suggesting when you automate that it could be 7 different messages. And to me, it's not like, hey, this drives me nuts. When I get emails from somebody prospecting, they forward on their other message to me saying, hey, I'm putting this to the top of your inbox. You didn't get back to me. What did you think about my email? Well, I'm not going to scroll down to read their message. I mean, send me a new message, right? Like that
Right.
drives me nuts. So you want to send new information in all those touches, right?
Right. And also useful information. Like it's, whatever pain points you can address for people, how can you showcase how you've helped other people, solve that, or just show empathy for people. Like this is a common problem and this is how you
Right.
can like make it better in your business. And again, like the most important thing is to tell people what they're supposed to do after they read it.
Yeah.
So is it, if this sounds like it, can help you, we'd love to talk to you, book a consultation or join us for, we've talked about a webinar or, I'll be speaking at this, association or something like that, or read my like LinkedIn post on this topic for more information. People need to be told what to do, especially in like the attention deficit
Yeah.
disorder. Got
Yeah.
so much coming at us. It's really, really, really easy to get lost. And
Hmm.
that's why we need to re repeat the messaging more than probably we would like to.
Yeah.
But don't
Yeah.
always be chasing the shiny objects because, you're going to lose your audience that way.
Yeah. That's a perfect way to end because we're at time. Thank you so much, Gaynor. How can people, if you can let people know how they reach you?
Sure. Well, they can go to Charisma Inc., which is charisma and then ink.com, or they can email me. It's Gaynor, Gaynor, at charismainc.com. And then I'm always on LinkedIn, so please connect with me there on LinkedIn, and we're on other social channels, but I love LinkedIn. I think I make the best connections with people. I love to see what people are doing in their businesses, and so that's definitely a happy place for me. So I'd love to meet people there.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Deneen.
Bye. Yep.
Bye.